Okay, here we are for another Saturday Night Live on Zoom, and we have very special guest Ingrid with us, and it's going to be quite a story, I think, for for her to share, and we thank her for taking her time with us here. Um so, Ingrid, I remember you sent me a message a while ago, and then we never heard from you for a long time. How did you find out about MasterFast? Tell us a little bit about your background and how you found it, and so on and so forth. And what was your lifestyle kind of
Um,
like prior?
uh, well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. I feel honored. And thank you to all the people out there listening right now and later, hopefully. Um, this has been quite a journey. Um, I had a very rough time. Uh, there was so much pain, but yet there was so much beauty in my life. So many blessings and so much hard hardness to deal with. Since childhood, since about the age of 5, I realized one night after a horrible experience, one of so many, um, that I didn't want to be around anymore.
Mm.
And that started a journey of a life filled with craziness. Craziness because I lived my life on the edge and uh, very rebellious within because I was a very obedient child. I had to be. I was born in the Dominican Republic, and my family migrated to New York City when I was almost 7 years old. It was a culture shock, and we migrated to the South Bronx, which at that time was known as, Vietnam, because there was a war going on in the South Bronx day and night. Shootings every day, fires right next door to our, tenement building, fires every day right next to us. I couldn't walk outside to go to school without getting beat up, and my hair was chopped up. Kids would grab me and take out blades and chop off my hair, and um, the teachers had to walk me back to home from school because all the kids wanted to beat me up because I was new, different.
Wow.
Um, and then I would get home, and my father was an extremely violent alcoholic, drug addict who seemed to get extreme pleasure out of torturing us. So, you know, that's where I come from. So by the age of 5, really, I was done. I just didn't want this life anymore. It wasn't good. And that was while we were still in the Dominican Republic. When we got to New York, it was, you know, much, much, much worse. Um, but I learned to read when I was 5. And I mean read very well. Newspapers, magazines. I was gifted. I was beautiful. I was a beautiful child. So I was, winning beauty contests and talent. I was an incredible singer. I'm a jazz singer. I'm a professional. I've sang, I've been accompanied by the greatest musicians out there. I've sang in Japan and China and, Africa, India, Europe, South America, you name it. I lived in Montreal for years, sang there in the Montreal Jazz Festival in the 80s. Raised four amazing children, Michael, Bettina, Peter, and Paul, who were twins. I had four kids in less than 3 years. A husband he's a good guy, horrible husband, never around. And I was always alone raising my kids. And the depression just kept getting worse. I was so happy because I was in love, not only with my husband, but extremely in love with my beautiful baby. And I was a happy mother. I took that, that title and went with all my heart and soul into being the best mom, cook from scratch. I'm a gourmet cook, always have been. So, I enjoy preparing the best, healthiest meals for my children and just being there. And I was a crazy fun mom, It was fun for them when they were little. In 1995, we were living in Orlando. I was already divorced. My depression really started getting worse and worse and worse and worse, to the point where I would drop them off at school in the morning, and then I would drive myself like a maniac to the emergency room. I had to keep changing hospitals because they kept kicking me out. They were getting tired of me. And I would walk in screaming, saying, please help me, fix me before 3. I have to pick up my kids in school. Please fix me. And this was an everyday thing. I did programs. I tried everything. I've done past life regressions, and I've done hypnotherapy. Last year, I went into the jungles of the Amazon in Peru and did ayahuasca for 10 days. When, I was going through the worst withdrawal symptoms because I was taking 13 pills a day just for my major depressive disorder.
Prescription?
Oh, yeah, prescription.
Oh, boy.
And I was diabetic.
Were these
Hello?
benzo drugs? Were these
Hello?
benzo drugs?
Yeah, and I was a diabetic. And last year, in May, my doctor put me on insulin. And I'm like, I can't do it. By June, I said, I can't do this because I was losing my mind. It wasn't curing me. It was making me worse. I was over 200 pounds, trembling all the time, nervous twitches all over my face and body, in pain. Every cell in my body hurt like hell.
When did you start taking the meds?
I started taking meds in 1990.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was terrible. The first years, I was a guinea pig. They were driving me crazy. I went through many crises. I ended up, I tried to kill myself in 95. I drove my children from Orlando to Daytona Beach to a summer camp. And I said goodbye to my children. And I drove home. It was pouring. All of a sudden, I was crying my heart out because I knew I had just said goodbye to my baby. And then it just started pouring and pouring. But the rain wasn't as hard as my tears. And I went home and I prepared to die. And I went to so many different supermarkets buying all the sleeping pills that I could find. And then I went home, wrote my goodbye letters, and started taking the pills while listening to my favorite singer who got me into jazz when I was 9, Billie Holiday. And I'm listening to the blues and writing my goodbye letter to my kids and my mother, and I started just popping pills. And lo and behold, I woke up, I don't know, about a day and a half, 2 days later, urine all over me, all groggy and extremely hungry and thirsty. And I got up and I went to the kitchen and I opened the fridge and I grabbed a half gallon of juice, and I just started drinking. And I'm like, man, something's wrong. Something's not right. And then I went back to my room and I saw the empty, cartons of pills and my goodbye letters. And I realized, and then I screamed because I said, shit, you can't do anything right, And I just felt like such a failure. Anyway, a lot of things happened. I ended up living in my car, drove down to Miami. And, one thing led to another. I ended up being hospitalized in a mental hospital. I was there for 3 months. The doctor found my ex-husband, told him what was going on, and he went and picked up the kids and took them to live with him in the Dominican Republic. And I didn't see my kids for years. And then all hell broke loose in my life. I really didn't want to live anymore. And I started doing all kinds of drugs. And I was drunk every day. And I lived life on the edge. Anything and everything that would kill me, I would do. Because life had no meaning. Mm. Anyway, it's been getting worse and worse through the years. And when I stopped taking meds last year, I knew it was going to be the end. I said, this is it.
What made you decide to stop taking the meds?
I always wanted to, but I never had the strength because I was afraid of what would happen. But then I wanted so badly to do the ayahuasca because I was convinced it was going to heal me. And you can't be on drugs if you're doing ayahuasca. So I had to quit. Mm-hmm. So that's what I did. And on the plane going to Peru, I got very ill. I cried, screamed the whole time at the airport, everywhere I went. The tears wouldn't stop flowing. Everyone would just stare at me like I was crazy. And anyway, got to the jungle, did the ayahuasca, which was the worst thing I did. I would love to do it now again, the way I feel now. But at that time, I was going through withdrawal symptoms. Mm. And it's the worst thing in the world to do. And anyway, it didn't work. From there, I came to New York. Was getting worse. But from here, 10 days later, I had to fly to Europe because my son was getting married. I got sick again on the airplane to Europe. I almost didn't make it to my son's ceremony that day from the hotel because I couldn't even get up. The crying was nonstop. I wasn't sleeping at all. I was up 24/7. I couldn't even take a nap. It wasn't possible. And but I prayed and prayed and begged God, the Creator, to help me make it to my son's wedding. I could not be there. That was my baby. So I made it. And I was able to smile for the camera so that my son would have a smiling mother, for future viewing. And then from there, I had to fly to Africa to meet my new grandson, who was just a couple of months old. And it was even worse. I made everybody's life miserable. I made my son cry. And that hurt like hell. I wanted it over. I couldn't continue to let my family suffer so much. And then I came back to New York. Couldn't take it. Decided to go to the Caribbean and go to a friend's cabin up in the mountains, isolated. I stayed there for 2 months, getting worse and worse. And it was torrential rains every day. It was unheard of. Every single day for the 2 months I was there. So I couldn't even go out in nature and enjoy it. So I was going crazy in there. I was going insane. Came back to New York because I had left my home that I had lived in for almost 9 years in Iowa. I abandoned the home with everything, you know, almost 9 years of my life there. I left everything behind because I couldn't function. I couldn't, you know, I was completely dysfunctional. So I came back to New York, locked myself in the room, and didn't go anywhere. Didn't talk to anyone. I still haven't talked to my friends or anything for about a year almost. In March, I was scrolling. I don't remember what I was looking for, but it had nothing to do with a master fast plan, you know? And I was scrolling on Google. I don't remember what I was searching for. And suddenly my eyes caught master fast system. And I kept scrolling up, you know, I'm like, whatever. And something told me, go back. So I went back and I just stared at master fast system. I just stared. And I was going to go back and keep scrolling. And then something told me, open it, you know, click on it. So I clicked and I saw a video of you, like a 2-hour video or something, talking about it. And I'm like, you know, he makes so much sense. And I'm the kind of person that I'm very practical. I like things that make sense. Also, it can be insane, but I can see the sense in it, you know, because I'm crazy that way. So,
what was when was this approximately? What time of it, last year or this year?
This past March.
Oh, March. Okay.
Yeah. So then I watch more videos and watch videos, you know, testimonials and stuff like that. And I said, wow. So what I did was I copied it and sent it to, I sent a link to my son who lives in Africa. And he said, Mom, that sounds great. Do it. I said, I'll do it in May because it just so happened that week, my uncle who was desperate, you know, seeing me just crying and suicidal every day, locked in this room in the dark, he said, listen, I just bought you a ticket to go see your daughter and your granddaughter in April. So you can spend her birthday. It was my daughter's birthday in April. So he said, I want you to spend it with her. Maybe it'll help you. And I said, okay. I didn't really want to leave the room. I didn't want to be out there around people in society. And but I wanted to see my daughter and granddaughter. So I went. I was there for 10 days. Cried most of the time. But I also got to finally laugh a little because my granddaughter just gives me that amazing love. And it was beautiful. But I just kept thinking about, I'm going back into that dark room in a few days. So that kept me from really enjoying the moment, the now. I came back to New York, to the darkness, worse than when I left. A few days after I got back, this was in May, I started to write again my suicide letter to my family. And I was ready to do it because I couldn't take the pain anymore. It was too painful. It was too much. I couldn't continue to be strong for everybody else. You know, just to not cause them pain by me killing myself. I was like, hell with that. I can't think about anybody else anymore. I have to think about me. I'm just going to do it. So I was writing my suicide letters. And right there, and I was crying my heart out, just begging God to help me. And my son called. And suddenly he said, Mom, what about that fast that you were going to do? You said you were going to do it when you got back from the Caribbean. Did you forget? I said, oh my God, I completely forgot about it. And he said, let me get on the website. And he said, okay, you need the pictures, you need this. Let me order them for you. Whatever you need, I'm going to get it for you, okay? He said, now in the meantime, get up, go to the supermarket, and start stocking up on your juice and lemons, while this gets there. And for the first time in my life, I heard the angels sing. And a little pinhole of light and hope came into my life.
Well.
And he said, Mom, just keep watching the videos. Just keep watching and reading. And that's what I did. And when my tinctures and everything else came, I already had a shitload of juice stocked,
So,
and
you were off the meds still?
Oh yeah, because I left the meds.
Yeah.
No, I said no. I'll die without taking meds.
Yeah.
I'll die on my own terms, not on the pills killing me. That's what I thought, And so I decided to start. Well, I have to tell us a little. I was going to start on the 26th, which was my mom's birthday. And I said, let me start on the 26th. And I wrote, I sat on the edge of my bed that morning, staring at the wall straight ahead. And I just stared at the wall. And I'm like, I'm so confused. I don't know what to do. How do I start? All these doubts started, this. And I'm like, what do I do? What's the first step? And I wrote something about it to the group. It was the first time I ever wrote to the group. And somebody, and I have to thank her. I forgot what her name is. I tried looking it up the other day, but I just couldn't find it. She said, oh, you're not ready. Let me tell you, she pissed me off so much. I thank her from the bottom of my heart because she gave me the impetus that I needed to say, F you, I'll show you.
Exactly.
And suddenly I started. It began. And I thank her for saying that because she pissed me off. You don't know me. I was thinking, I'm a New Yorker, man. You don't know me. You don't know shit about me. Who the hell you think you are, I can do this shit. That's how I felt, I'll show you. And sorry if I'm cursing.
No problem.
But anyway, I started. I took the first step because she upset me. And lo and behold, 108 days later, here's my calendar. I don't know if you see it. You see it?
Yep.
That's my calendar.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I, I want to thank her personally. So I went through a very difficult time uh, because, I was coming from such a sick place. Um, Major depressive disorder of a lifetime is nothing easy to deal with. And after coming off of taking, at last count, 13 pills just for, plus insulin and pills for diabetes, which I stopped taking also last year at the same time. I stopped everything. I said, I'm never taking another freaking pill for the rest of my life if I get to live a longer life. Because I was going to kill myself anyway, so I didn't care. Out of sight, out of mind, out of existence. So, and I was eating what I wanted. I was doing what I wanted because I didn't care. I was going to die anyway. And it was tough. But let me tell you, a week after I started on the master fast, the suicidal thoughts weren't there anymore. They were non-existent. They were gone.
In 1 week.
And one day I'm like, what happened to them? Where are they? It's the only constant in my entire life since the age of 5 was, I'm going to kill myself.
Were you having good bowel movements, lots of enemas?
Oh my God. Let me tell you, they're on my calendar because I would write comments of something, epic. Whatever I was feeling that was really strong or something that happened. And one of them says, on the 55th day, the devil came out of me. It says, the longest, hugest thing I've never imagined. Also got very dizzy that night and got low blood pressure.
Yep, that usually happens.
Yeah.
Before release.
It was like an exorcism. I almost fainted when I looked in the toilet. and I saw it. I almost fainted.
Wow.
It was, I had never imagined anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And my kids were like, Mom, why didn't you take a picture? I'm like, are you crazy? I almost fainted. I took other pictures of other, pretty, epic ones, but not like that monster. And I can't look at the pictures. One day I'll post them if I have to, but I don't like, looking at them. But this was, like an exorcism, and the devil came out of me.
Wow.
And, I had many epics.
I tell people sometimes, like, they're not released. I go, some people, they won't release the old stuff till it gets to 50, 60 days. And here you are, another example. It's so locked up. It takes time before it starts loosening up and able to shed. And, just got to keep going. 40 days, yeah, it's a good start. But sometimes it's just not enough to break things loose.
Yeah, and also I have to point out that I was a lifelong chronic constipator.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Lots of people, yeah.
I would go up to a month without going to the bathroom.
Whoa.
Like the time that my kids and I were separated, I didn't go to the bathroom for a month. I didn't sleep for a month.
Wow.
Didn't close my eyes. I was losing my mind. So, to see all this stuff coming out of me. And now I'm going to the bathroom every day like normal people do for the first time in my life. Every day I go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Couple times a day, and I'm like, wow, this was not part of my life ever. And, it's, I'm going through a lot right now, post
Yeah,
fast.
well, you gotta, this is why we teach 1 to 2 times the length of the fast. You're still in the process. Very important process, the post. And this is where a lot of people, they just are not, don't know where they're at. Their emotions are running all over. And they're just reaching for things they shouldn't be eating. And it's a challenging time. So this is why, as we go on, we have so many different options to move people slowly back because it's very, very important right now. It's the second phase of metamorphosis. A lot happens. A lot happens in this part. So keep embracing.
I know.
Stay clear.
I know. I'm feeling a lot of emotions coming.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A lot of anger that I never really dealt with my anger. I always held it in.
Yeah.
And I've always been I'm known as a very loving, mellow, kind person. That's who I've been. Very strong. I'm very, nobody sways me. And, I'm very direct, very honest with people. I don't beat around the bush because I've never cared to. I don't have time for that, and I don't care what you think. I'm not out looking for, buddies and for people to like me. I don't give a crap. You like me or you don't. Usually you like me, and that's wonderful. But if you don't, that's okay too. It doesn't affect me any which way, it doesn't affect me. So now I'm dealing with anger that comes from a very deep place. Because as a child, suffering, the extreme abuse from my father, I could never express it. And I always try to be a good girl and try to make myself as invisible as possible. That's why, I stopped eating when I was about 6 years old. I found out in my 30s through a lot of therapy that was when I started on my suicidal track by not eating. I didn't understand, but when you're a kid, adults are always telling you, eat. If you don't eat, you're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And that clicked in my little brain. Oh, I'll die? Okay, I'll stop eating. So I stopped eating. I hated food. The worst times of the day for me were when my mother would, call out, come inside, it's time to eat. It was like I would hide. I would hide, run and hide. And I would throw up. And I was always in the emergency room because my stomach was closing. There came a point when I was about 9 years old that I couldn't even, a drop of water, I would throw it up. When I got married at the age of 21, I weighed 73 pounds.
Wow.
I was all bones. There was like nothing but bones. I was 73 pounds. I just hated food. And at the same time, I hated the way I looked. Through school, I used to put on 2 and 3 pants, one on top of the other, so that I would look like I had some kind of meat on me, because I hated how skinny I was. But I hated food even more. Yet I love to cook, and I'm a gourmet cook. My daughter is a professional chef, award winner chef and everything. Learned it from me. And so it was, very confusing to people that I would cook up a storm, a banquet, and feed everybody, but I wouldn't taste anything. So now I'm feeling anger. And today I was telling my uncle that I wish I could just go away somewhere where I could scream at the top of my lungs and cry until I can't cry anymore. Because I know it's part of the healing. It's stuff that I have to let out the proper way, you know. Back in the 90s, I would do these, you know, healing things, courses, and I had what they call a damn it doll. It was this rag doll, very specific structure to it, and you would grab it by the legs and just go, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, and just bang it all over the place, you know, and let out whatever you were feeling. Now I want to do something like that, but to the nth degree.
How about your friend's cabin in the mountain?
I mean, I'm thinking of doing, but I can't do it right now. I'm going in December. Back there, I'm going to spend Christmas with my daughter and my granddaughter, and it's my granddaughter's birthday too in December. So, and now, you know, she's old enough to, Grandma, I want you to be here for my birthday, and I want you to buy me some red shorts. And I told her, yes, I'll buy you some red shorts. So I have to find some red shorts in the winter time for my little girl. So, you know, when I get there, I'll take a few days and go up to the mountain and just be by myself for a couple of days and scream all that I want to scream and continue on this healing journey. But everyone should do this.
What other challenge? You said you had some real challenges going through the Master Fast. Maybe you want to share some of the other challenges?
The what?
The challenges you've had during the fast?
Oh.
Like, you know, what was your your daily dries, your weekly, monthly? You want to talk about a little bit of that?
I used to do, I used to do between 12 to 16 hour daily dry.
Okay.
And then on the weekends, I could only do 24-hour dry.
Mm-hmm.
I kept trying to do more, but I couldn't. I just listened to my body. I didn't want to push myself too much because, you know, I didn't want anything that would, you know, traumatize me.
Mm-hmm.
So I just listened to my body, and I said, as long as I keep doing at least 24 hours every weekend, you know, it'll be good. And let me tell you also, I did this on the cheap because I'm on disability. I've been on disability since I think 1999 or 2000. I can't really remember clearly because of my depression. I didn't ask for it, but the last time I was hospitalized, my doctors started the process of getting me disability because I couldn't function. I could not function. And so they, you know, I got a disability, which I want to end finally because I'm not there anymore. I'm not that person anymore. I just don't know what I'm going to do at the age of 59. You know.
Anything you want.
You know, that I could support myself because I haven't worked. I hardly ever worked a regular job. I've always been a jazz singer. And then I was married for 10 years. My husband took care of everything. He was very successful for a time that he lost it all gambling. Um, so I didn't really, I was never a part of the corporate world or, I'm a bohemian, I'm a hippie, you know, um, I don't belong to, I'm on the fringes of society. I always have been since I was a little kid. For example, I come from an ultra Catholic family. Um, when I was about 8 and a half, I memorized in one night, verbatim, the whole catechism book. In one night, I memorized it.
Yeah.
The nuns were screaming, going, "Oh my God, you're ready!" They went to my house, told my mother, all excited, that I was ready for my first communion. And my mother was, overjoyed. My sister had already done it. All the cousins, everybody in the family, generation after generation. And I simply said no. And everybody was like, "What?" And I said, "I'm not doing it." "What do you mean you're not doing it?" "I don't believe in it. It's all bullshit."
Oh my.
I got severely punished twice because after the first punishment, they came back to me. "Okay, did you have enough?" "Yeah, I had enough." "Are you going to do your first communion?" "No." Again, I was punished. Well, I never did. I won. First time ever that had happened, at least in my family. So I've always been rebellious and free thinking since I was a child. By the age of 14, I have read Shakespeare and English literature and French literature and Spanish literature, and I'm fully bilingual, so I can read in both languages. I can read and understand a lot of French and Italian and a little bit of German, and I'm very well read. I study a little bit of journalism. I studied a bit of everything, but I never finished anything in my life except for the master fast because I've never had any discipline because I never knew how I was going to feel at the end of the day, if I was going into a dark place or I would be okay. So I would start something and never finish it. And I educated myself because the schools I was going to in the Bronx and in Brooklyn, and I lived in Spanish Harlem for many years and never I used to make believe I was going to school. I was in elementary school, and I would go through the notions that I was going to school, make everybody think I was going to school, and then turn around when everybody left to work and school and whatever, and sneak into the apartment and just read. I educated myself. And the teachers hated me because of it. Instead of, applauding me, they were like, "Who's this little spick immigrant, who knows more?" Because I would raise my hand and say, "Oh, excuse me, teacher, the spelling there is wrong, and the punctuation is wrong. It should be this. That should be a colon, not a semicolon. That should, and I would correct them. And for them, it was like unacceptable for some little immigrant spick to do that. It was as simple as that. So they punished me for it. Instead of making me feel like I can, be somebody, they would punish me in many different ways. So I just stopped going to school. And we were always moving because we were always running away from my father, like in the middle of the night when he would, after beating us up and torturing us and whatever, once he fell asleep, we would sneak out in the middle of the night with whatever we had on our back and disappear into the night and go live in a little room somewhere that we would find, or in a church, and you know, and always changing schools, always changing location, always changing everything. So there was, nothing, no foundation there. And I wasn't brainwashed by the powers that be. I always knew that there was a real truth behind what I was being told. So I always investigated. By the 70s, oh my God, I have read so many things, and I became a sort of conspiracy theorist, back in the 70s. And so, living that kind of, with that kind of life, existence, and that horrible illness of mental illness, and at the same time being such a curious person, I always have to learn. Every day I have to learn something new. Every day. And knowing and discovering the real truth behind the lies, and not being able to tell people because people won't understand. So I always felt alone. And then my children came along. And they are the most enlightened beings I have ever met in my life. All 4 of them. And we have the most amazing conversations. And I thank God for giving me the greatest gift. The greatest gift. And now I can give them with this. I did this for them. But ultimately, I did it for me. I've learned to love myself. I've learned to respect myself and realize that, miracles happen every day. And this was a miracle that I found you, that I found this master fast system, this amazing journey, because this is a journey of a lifetime. This is a journey of the most amazing self-discovery. The inner world is so much more fascinating than what's supposedly out there. And I'm discovering facets of myself, a beingness that I've read about. I've had moments of pure joy, I remember when I read The Power of Now, when it first came out. I went bike riding with my son, and we were in the forest, and I had just finished reading The Power of Now, and suddenly I saw little bunnies hopping out, and I saw a little deer to my left, and then I saw a tiny fox, and suddenly I was like in a Disney movie, only better. And I stopped the bike because what I felt was so amazing. And my son stopped. He was way ahead of me. And he stopped and he rode back to me. He's like, "Mom, are you okay?" I said, "Son, I am fully in the moment. Fully, I understand what Eckhart Tolle was talking about. Everything is perfect in this moment. Perfect." And ever since that happened, this was over 10 years ago, I've been in pursuit of that. And because it can become addictive. And that's the best addiction in the world to have. And, now, doing the Master Fast, I realized that it was so attainable, that I could get there, that I could live in that moment for the rest of my life.
Sure, for anybody who chooses.
You know, anybody can do this.
Mm-hmm.
If I could do it, now I can testify. And it's like, you know, nobody can come to me now and say, oh, man, I can't do that, you know, but I'm really sick. I just want to die, but I can't do that. I say, hey, listen, you're not as bad as I was then. You're not nearly as suicidal as I was. You're not nearly as deep in the hole of the darkest of the dark as I was. You know? Because if I could do it, everybody can. But you have to really, you know, you have to really be in a place in your life, in your psyche, where it's like, for me, I said it's do or die. Ingrid, you're going to do this, because if you don't do it, you're going to die like now, like right this instant. You're going to take your own life. So I had no choice, because all I saw were my children's faces and my grandchildren's faces. And that drove me and gave me everything I needed at that instant to take that first step. And 108 days seemed like an eternity. But once it ended, I was like,
Is that
it's
all?
over?
Yeah.
That was it?
Everybody goes through.
I was like, oh my God, it's over?
Nope, just began.
How can climbing that highest of the highest mountains have been such a short journey? You know? That unreachable mountaintop. How did I get here so fast? Like in the blink of an eye, in the whole scope of things, you know?
Yeah.
And it's you know, it's unfathomable to anyone, to myself. But man, I did it. I did it. And nobody can take that away from me.
Hallelujah.
And nobody can take away the fact that Ingrid died. And this is a whole new being that I'm starting to get to know.
Reborn.
You know, that I can't wait to get to know, because this Ingrid is so special, so different, has so much more to give and to feel, to give to herself. I'm loving myself and respecting myself. And, you know, all I can say is, I won! I did not lose a thing. I won it all. I won it all. And, I mean, I have to say that it's been difficult post-fast, because the first 4 or 5 days, I wrote to you. I couldn't do the fruits. I couldn't. I was like, this is not cutting it, because I've never been a person that's into fruits per se, only tropical fruits. I'm not into apples and bananas but you know, tropical fruits, because I'm a Caribbean girl. And I you know, I lived there for many years, back and forth. I have kids that live there still, and so I always eat a lot of tropical fruits while I'm there. You know, fruits they don't sell here, and if they did, would be extremely expensive. I'm on disability. I get a stupid little check every month, once a month, and that's all I have for everything. Now they raised my food stamps to $26 a month. They were giving me $16 a month. You're supposed to survive a whole month in New York City, okay, with $16 or $26 a month. Can you believe that?
Mm.
How am I supposed to, really feed myself healthy, organic, delicious food?
Rice and potatoes clog you up so you can go get your meds.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, but I know they're going to take it away from me soon because for the last year and so, I haven't gone to a doctor. There's no I moved here to New York from Iowa. I haven't, made any appointments because I've learned now how to heal myself. And if I didn't want to see a doctor anymore since last year when I stopped taking meds, now I definitely do not. And I'll do everything in my power to stay as healthy as possible because I don't ever want another drug in my system ever again. Ever again. They were killing me, and no more. I'm not going to make anybody else rich over my misery. That's over and done with.
Awesome.
And I just have to keep myself healthy. I spent years and years. I started drinking and getting high when I was 12. Well, drinking even younger because when I was a little girl, my father used to force me to drink rum. He would just shove it down my throat till I choked.
Wow.
And I was a little kid, 7, 8 years old. And he would sit me on his lap and then just force me to drink pure rum straight up. And so I got a liking to liquor. By the age of 12, I was getting drunk and high. At 13, I was getting chased by cops, smoking weed in the street, rolling up joints. At 13, getting chased and doing all kinds of crazy shit. I lived a crazy life. I calmed it down a lot when I got married and started having my children and raising them. I was a very good mother. They never saw liquor in the house. They never saw weed in the house, nothing, because that was my children's sanctuary. That was their haven. And no one could visit me and smoke or drink or do it. I would not allow it because it wasn't my house. It was my children's house. And I wanted my children to have a childhood, an innocent childhood that I didn't have. So I wanted them to have it. And so I gave them that, and they thanked me for it every day. So, I did a lot. In the 90s, I really went crazy with drugs. I was doing all kinds of drugs. I really got heavy into cocaine. I was smoking cigarettes like crazy, drinking. I was drunk every day. I had hangovers every single day. I didn't care. My children have been taken away. I had nothing to get up for anymore in the morning. I didn't care. So I just did whatever would kill me fastest. That's what it was about. What's going to kill me today? So I did drugs, things I had never heard of, concoctions, that I had never seen or heard of, and I just drank it like nothing, and had the most incredible hallucinations, highs and doing crazy stuff. I mean, I did I did a lot of crazy things um, that I should have been arrested for. I did get arrested once in Miami um, for speeding, of all things. But I wasn't even drunk or high that day. I was very ill um, and needed to go to the bathroom. But anyway, that's a long story. But yeah, I had quite a life, and I just want the people that are out there listening or will listen later on. If you're on the journey now, keep at it, keep going, be strong. It's over in the wink of an eye. I mean, it's over so fast. And it's the greatest gift that you can give yourself. The greatest gift. To heal yourself, there's nothing better than that. Only great things will follow. I right now, I'm struggling with a lot of emotions, but I know it's all part of the healing. I've been through a lot, so there's a lot of healing that has to keep going. But I'm there, I'm open, I'm accepting of it because I know and trust that very, very amazing, good, amazing things are coming my way. I'm prepared. I've been preparing my whole life for the moments to come.
Just let it
And
flow.
yeah, and they're coming, and I'm ready. And I talk to Source every day, and I say, listen, this girl right here is ready. Whatever it is, wherever it's taking me, I'm there. I'm there. I'm ready to confront whatever. Because I confronted the worst. So nothing scares me. Nothing. I fear nothing and no one. I used to fear myself only, but I don't fear myself anymore. That was the greatest fear I had, was me. But I don't fear me anymore. I trust me now. I trust me with my life. And I never imagined I'd be able to say that. And I'm so thankful to you, to my family for their support, because they never asked questions. Even when they wanted to freak out, they never did. Never said, but, or if, or, they were just steady because they see me, they suffer with me. So they went all in, all in.
That's awesome because most people have the opposite struggles with their family.
Yeah, and I feel for them because all you need to do this properly is the support, 100% support of your loved ones. And I have that. I have that. And I'm blessed. I I am blessed. No one ever doubted that I could do this. And my amazing uncle, who would get out of work, and just go and buy me gallons and gallons of juice and dozens of lemons because he knew I couldn't afford to do it, for the whole month. And he took care of that for me. My sons for, ordering the tea that I needed, if I needed extra this or that. Um, and just everyone, just being there for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm very blessed. And I just, I just hope I can help you. If, you know, people are listening tonight and, you know, like I started to say earlier, keep going through it. It's going to end and it's going to be magnificent. If you're thinking about doing it, what the hell are you waiting for? Just do it. Okay? Change your life. Change your life forever. This is the way. This is it. And, you know, I'm very independent. I've never belonged to like little cliques here, not even in school. I was always extremely popular, very popular. Everybody wanted to be my best friend. But I've always been very picky. Who is my friend? Very picky. And, you know, I've been to ashrams in all over India and tried all kinds of meditations and yogas and all kinds of things. I've done the purification program. 2 years ago, I did the happiness program. Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. I did the Sadhguru. I mean, I've done so much my whole entire life. You name it. I've tried it. I've done it. I've read the book. Been there, done that. I've gotten all the freaking t-shirts. Nothing worked. Nothing got me anywhere near what I started feeling a week into the Master Fast. A week. I wasn't thinking about killing myself anymore.
Incredible.
So, you know, do not hesitate. You want to change your life. You want to live a real life. You want to learn the power within you. Just go for it. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Sounds like an old cliche. Yes, it is. And it's truth. For some reason, somebody, you know, it turned into a cliche because there's truth to cliches. And, yeah, just go for it. And I'm very thankful for this moment now. This is very healing to me. I really needed this. I was very apprehensive for the last week and a half or so about doing this. Because I'm like, what am I going to talk about? You know, what do I have to say that will help people, inspire them, or whatever? And ultimately, it's just telling my story, where I come from and where I'm headed now. I don't know where, but I know it's going to be amazing, because I will accept nothing less than amazing after the Master Fast, because that was epic.
It only gets better when you commit.
So,
well, Ingrid, this has been my favorite Zoom.
Excuse me?
This has been my favorite Zoom.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's very touching.
Thank
you
you
for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing.
Well, thank you for inviting me and allowing me this release.
I knew it would help. I knew it would help you and help so many people just to hear your story. I mean, I didn't know your story fully, and it's just amazing. It's amazing. It's so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel so much more healing going on right now.
Yeah, you're in the right direction.
It's all beautiful.
Amazing. Just keep going.
We let it all flow. Let it just flow out till there's nothing left. And it's amazing feeling when you release. It's just awesome.
Yeah, Yeah, you want to just keep going. You want to do as much fasting as you can, because this is the way. I tell you, after more than 2 years now, within my first master fast, it's definitely less is more. So, food is going to bring back the emotions. It's going to bring back our addictions to the food and to other things, and it's not the way to go. So you want to learn how to uh, fast most of the time, and then eat sometimes whenever you fast as much as you can, because this is the way to go. If you can do master fast most of the week and then eat 1 day, 2 days a week, or find a way, find your balance. Everybody likes to do it their own way. For me,
Yeah,
I eat.
that's what I'm trying to do. Is I'm trying to find a balance because I can't just do fruit.
Yeah, sure.
I started
Okay.
using vegetables, but that wasn't enough. The hunger was overwhelming me, and so I started drinking soup, just all vegetables, a lot of all kinds of vegetables, and that's making me feel stronger because I was feeling extremely weak, and I felt like I was going to faint every day. But now I'm starting to feel stronger physically, um, and in many other ways. So I know that I'm going to find that balance now that I'm feeling stronger, uh, and
Any
it makes
ex?
me feel good.
Did you do any exercise during? Do you do an exercise now?
No, I haven't been able to. And let me tell you, everything that I planned to do, I bought a yoga mat. Um, my uncle in the backyard has what do you call it, a treadmill. So it's like, okay, I'm going to do my master fast and I'm going to exercise, because I'm going to lose a lot of weight and I don't want to be sagging and whatever. I want to be strong. Oh my God. Oh my God. The first time I got on that treadmill, I thought I was going to die. And it was the summer and it's outside. So I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. And then I tried a couple of times, but I realized my body said, girl, quit it. Just concentrate on the fast. And the yoga, forget about it. But I know that soon, because the last couple of days, especially, I'm feeling stronger. Like I'm gaining some sense of self back, physically. Because I've always been very strong physically. I mean, I used to fight men. I could knock them out. And, but these last few months, no, I can't hold anything,
Yeah,
tight.
it takes time to everything to kick in again. It's normal.
Yeah, and
But
sometimes, yeah.
even if you do some brisk walking, some stretching, we need energy moving, right?
Yeah,
How long has it been since you broke it now?
since I what?
Since you finished the fast
I finished on the 11th,
of this month?
last Monday of last week.
Okay, yeah, it's still very early, so give your body time. Be patient. Trust.
Yeah,
Keep the faith. Just be very patient. It takes what it takes. Some people might take 3, 4, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever, to get everything kicking in again. But did you plan your next one?
yeah. Well, I'm going to. Yeah, I'm being kind to myself and patient.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I've always had a lot of patience. Thank God I was given lots and lots. I raised 4 kids by myself practically, all under the age of 3. So I have been, blessed with so much patience. I never spanked them. I never yelled or cursed at them, you know. So I'm very patient. And I enjoy being by myself. And now I think I enjoy it too much because I've gotten used to it. A year without socializing. You know, I think I've gotten used to it too much because I'm going to Rhode Island in 2 weeks to spend some time. I haven't seen my sister since last December, and it's her birthday in 2 weeks. And I'm going to finally visit her in Rhode Island. And I'm looking forward to seeing her. She's actually getting me a couple of gigs singing while I'm there. I don't know if I can do it because I haven't sang in so long and I'm so weak. Hopefully in 2 weeks I'll be stronger. But
ask him to tune in 432. You'll be able to do it, no problem.
Yeah, but you know, the socializing part is what worries me because I haven't done it, and I really, I just, you know, people out there are talking so much crap,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to hear any crap.
Well,
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear, you know, that, you know, what political party you belong. It's all bullshit anyway. It's all a theater.
Just spread your love.
A play.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't want to hear about your ignorance about what the reality of life is, you know? I don't. So you know, I'm afraid of people starting a conversation that I'm just going to get up and walk away. And, you know, which is what I'll probably do. Knowing me, I'll just walk away because I don't want to hear any crap, any conversations that have nothing to do with, you know, living life to the fullest. Whatever time we have on this earth, everything, I know how messed up everything is. But I also know that there's beauty. And it's within you. Peace in the world is within you. We all experience and will experience any and all situations according to how we perceive our reality, what dimension you're on. You know, if you want to stay in the dense, you know, third dimension, then go ahead, you know, but I don't want to live there. I don't want to live there. That's not where I reside. And so I always had tolerance. I could stay and pretend. But now I do not have any desire to pretend to be civil anymore. I'm beyond that now. I want truth. I want honesty. I want, you know, a more enlightened conversation with people that I will meet for the first time. Because otherwise, I'm not interested. I'd rather be in little villages all over the world, in Africa and South America, Central America, you know, helping people in little villages, you know, and teaching them whatever I can teach that they want to learn. I prefer that than to be sitting, you know, in a quaint little restaurant somewhere talking crap. And that's where I'm at now, 100%. No more just putting up with anything that I don't want to. Love is all. Love is our only shield. And that's what I want to spread.
Awesome.
And, you know, thank you so much one more time and forever. I'm feeling so much better than when I started. I can see more clearly now. And I hope more and more of us every day are joining this post 108 MFS club. More and more. I would love to see it grow till it can't grow anymore. So every human.
Well, you know, it shows, you know, the percentage of people actually doing it is very, very small. People in our community is even smaller. We teach this as a lifestyle. It's not a one-time shoot. You know, some people have come, they've done it, and they've taken off. We never hear from them anymore. This is not what we teach, you know, and that's the illusion people are living. They're looking for that magic potion pill or whatever, or one fast to solve all their problems. It doesn't work that way. This is a lifetime commitment. You need, it's a process to allow yourself to expand and go within. That's all it is. Simple. You just need to make commitment, patience, trust, and faith. It's not hard. It's not, you know, it's not easy, but the process is very simple. There's no complex thing about it. When you let go and release and allow it to happen.
Yeah, there is also like we're also like you know, taking in and acquiring so many new habits. So you want to, you know, whatever new habits that you have acquired on the master class, keep them going. Whatever you have, you know, tools and stuff like that, keep them going. And introduce even more, whatever, meditation, you know, start helping you.
We can't go back to the old triggers and old ways. This is the problem with challenges with people. They keep all the same things in the home the same way, and all the triggers, old triggers are there.
Yeah, once they start eating, and that's not a good way, you know. But you know, even.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
So even when we fall after the master fast, we might fall and feel horrible. Most of us did, okay? But you will not forget that you were feeling amazing. You will not forget that you saw the light when you were fasting, and you will not accept anything less. So you will go back and you will fast, and you will feel amazing again. And then until it becomes a habit, the best is to like just make most of the days fasting and getting this good feeling of fasting, and then, you know, when you want to eat, you know. I mean, maybe make a program. For me, I like it structured. For Gino, he doesn't like it structured. He eats whenever he wants to eat, and he fasts or lives on prana, you know, whenever he wants, dry fast, you know. For me, I like to make it structured. For me now, the best thing that has worked for me for 2 years now has been fasting for 6 days, master fast, and then 1 day of eating. And when I eat mucusless. And my body doesn't want to eat. The body does not want food. I know it, I feel it. It feels way better fasting. But the emotions want the food because they're attached to the food. We always eat. And so you still have this, you know, you smell good food or whatever it is in the farmer's market, you know. For you, if you like tropical fruits, you know, good mango, for example, right? Whatever, right? You get attached to it, and it smells good, and you want it. So, you know, have a break between the fast, eat. But eventually your body will talk to you, and it does not want to eat, especially not heavy food.
Yeah.
So keep learning. This is our experience. So for me,
We fast, we break, we fast, we break, we fast, we break. You know, we start learning what it's all about when we do that over and over and over.
Yeah.
You know, the way I'd like to see
Well,
it, we're in master fast and we take breaks eating once in a while. That's the way I look at it. If you want to eat.
right. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. I'll figure it out. I'll find the right balance. I know
Yeah,
that.
everybody's different.
Just don't panic and don't feel like a failure because you failed. This is part of learning, right?
Yeah.
It's part of
Yeah.
learning.
I'm taking it more easy on myself.
Yeah. I mean, we
I
all
don't want
did. I mean, I'm saying that because I did feel low when I ate, especially when I ate heavy. So I'm just saying, I know many people feel the same way. So it's nothing, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm just taking it easy on myself. Um, I just would really, I don't know. I have to find a way to have something to do um,
To keep you
while
going,
I'm
like,
still here in New York.
mm-hmm.
Before I leave in December.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard because I don't know anybody here,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't. I really going out. Where my mom's house is, where I'm living now. It's at night. It's very like I would love to go and listen to some jazz. Some nights I say like maybe I should go and listen to some jazz, which is what I love to do. That's like fun for me is going to a jazz club. And but I have to take a taxi at least. Well, usually they start late at night, so I will have to take a cab there and a cab back. Because I can't take the train at night by myself. I used to do that when I was young and I was growing up here because I was fierce and I used to carry a knife. But I'm 59 years old now. I'm not a teenager, or in my early 20s. That's not me anymore. Hasn't been for many years. I left here in 1980. So it's very limiting. New York is great if you have money and you live in the right neighborhood where you can feel secure when you're walking around and you have enough money to enjoy the amazing things that New York has to offer. It's fabulous. But not when you're me. Not under my circumstances. It's not ideal. That's why I don't like living here. And it's very hard for me because, I'm here. I love my mother and but it's hard living with her. And I know it's hard for her living with me. She used to work 2 and 3 jobs when I was growing up. So we didn't see each other very much, really. And then I left in 1980. And I would come back to visit, or she would visit me for a few days, But we never really lived together until this past year, like 24/7, because now she's retired. She's 78 years old. She's set in her ways. She's always been alone, always lived. No man. It was my father and then nobody else, unfortunately. And I'm set in my ways. I'm 59. I'm set in my... So we clash a lot. There's so much love and so much admiration for each other because she's my hero. But we clash a lot. And then it makes me feel guilty because right now I'm going through a lot of emotions and anger issues. And she is the one that gets the brunt of it. And then I just, any little thing, she gets hurt right away. And I feel like a monster if I hurt her in any way. So every day, then I just lock myself in my room and start crying and feel like shit because I hurt her feelings. When the last thing in the world I want to do is hurt my mother. I wish I could offer her the world because she's given me everything. My whole life. She has never let me down. And she's gone through hell with me, being sick my whole life. And all the stuff I have done. And she's never once faltered to give me her support in any way necessary. And for me to, in any way, hurt her, it's killing me. It's killing me because I love her so much. And I want to make her happy. I started doing this, for my children and for her, to finally be able to say, hey, Mom, I'm cured. I'm happy now. And, but, I have to get through this, and I want her to understand that she has to get through it with me this one last time, I want her to hang in there, just like I'm hanging in there, so we can both get through this and get to that beautiful place that I know it's already there. I just have to polish it up a bit, and it's hard on me. It's very hard. But I know it's even harder for her. And I know it would be better. I wish I had a car, because I would just get in my car and drive and scream. Like I used to do that. I used to live up in the mountains in Quebec in the 80s when my children were little. And one of them, Peter, never slept. And then he would wake up the other three in the middle of the night with his scream. And they would all scream. Thank God I lived up in the mountains in a Swiss chalet with no neighbors around. So nobody could hear the incredible noise. And when it got too overwhelming, what I would do, because I couldn't yell at them or anything. They were little babies, I would just put them all in one room, close the door, go downstairs, get in the car, turn on the radio, and scream at the top of my lungs for like a minute. And then I would turn off the radio, go back upstairs, and handle the situation beautifully. Put all my babies to sleep, and everything will be peaceful again. And that's what I wish I could do right now. Just get in the car, scream, and then come back in and feel great. Because I know it works. But unfortunately, I don't have a car here in New York. I never would, not in New York City. And I don't have any family members that have cars that live nearby. So...
the elevator? You got an elevator screaming?
Elevator? No, there's a house.
Oh, okay.
No elevator. But if I still feel this way when I go to Rhode Island in 2 weeks, my sister's gonna take me into the woods so that I could scream to my heart's content. So hopefully I won't feel like it anymore in 2 weeks. But if I still do, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Go into the woods and let it out. And I know that's going to help in the healing process. But I have to say this is helping a lot, a hell of a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see if anybody has any questions here. What Sid says, thank you, dear soul. I'm so glad you're with us. Tamara, you're awesome, Ingrid. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you for listening. Thank you. If any of you have any questions that I can answer, I'd be so happy to.
Yeah, that's why we're here. If anybody has any questions, speak now, forever hold your peace.
Well, this is the most I have spoken in like a year.
Wow.
Because I'm alone, I have little conversations here and there, and for a few minutes, and that's about it.
Mm. Yeah, it's good. It's a good release. I was never one for speaking a lot growing up. It's a big change for me.
Yeah. Well, it kind of it feels weird in my throat because
you're opening up channels.
Yeah. Being in isolation for so long, it really does a number on you.
Mm-hmm.
But then, I wonder, I ask myself, do I not want to socialize anymore because I've gotten used to not socializing? Or is it because I just have no need for it anymore? You know what I mean? Did I get used to it, or is it that I have no need for it? After a lifetime of being surrounded by people, many of them amazed. I've been blessed to have, found the most amazing friends all over the world. People that are there for me, have been there for me, 100%. And I know they truly love me and care about me. And many that I thought really loved me and care about me and betrayed me.
Mm.
So I've been betrayed by people that I thought really loved me after like 30 years of friendship. And, this happened about a year ago. My so-called best friend, 30 years, like sisters. And then realized that it's not exactly reciprocal, And that hurt me a lot because I was going through, I had just gotten off my meds and I was going through the whole mess. And then that hurt me for a long time. But now, I'm over it and I never look back. I'm friends with my ex-husband because, he is the father of my children. And he is a good guy. He's a decent man. He's a good guy. So we'll always be connected because of the love for our children and grandchildren that we share.
Mm-hmm.
But, Otherwise, I would never speak to him again because once I leave a man, that's it. I don't want to see you or hear from you again. Nothing against you, but I just don't look back. When I close a door, I never reopen it. I don't care who you are, what happened. It doesn't matter. Once I close the door, it's over and done with. Next.
When was the picture taken on your Facebook profile?
Oh, that was in April when I went to spend my daughter's birthday with her. That was on her birthday night that we went out to dinner.
Hmm.
And I had just gotten there the day before. And, you know, I used to have very long curly hair. I have very curly hair. But what happened was I was so depressed for so long. I put my hair in a bun. Didn't wash it for months. When I was leaving to the Caribbean, I went to wash my hair, put it down. It was one big wad of knots. I couldn't. There was. So I left to the DR wearing a hat. And the next day, I went to the salon there and had my hair, it had to be cut short. The lady tried as much as she could to untangle, but ultimately, I just told her, look, if you have to shave my head, I don't care. I shaved it way back in the day. I shaved my head, you know, it doesn't matter. I don't care. But she's like, no, I want to save your hair. So I had just had my hair cut that day, that short. And she blow dry, which I never do. I don't even own a blow dryer. My hair is naturally curly, and that's how I like it. But she said, let me blow dry your hair so you look different with your new short hair, you know? So I said, okay. And it was my daughter's birthday, so I said, okay. So that's when that picture was taken. Well, I'm wearing a hat today because, again, it happened. I don't know how it happened because just a few days ago, I brushed my hair to untangle it, make sure it was not tangled. But today I washed my hair, and as I was shampooing it, you know, and just going like this, you know, scrubbing my hair, it got hot. Well, the tangles are, I had to put a hat on because I can't untangle. So I'm back to the same situation. And maybe this time I'm going to have to cut my hair really short because it's shorter. Before it was really long. And so I have to put a hat on because it's a mess. It's a mess. So I don't know what's going to happen.
All right. We got a few more minutes here. If you got anything else you want to share, or
I don't know. I mean, it's been a long and exciting life. I started writing my autobiography when I was 16. When I was in my mid-20s, mid to late 20s, we moved from Montreal back to the Caribbean. And I had this beautiful leather attaché case with all my notebooks from the time I was 16 to that date with my journals because I was going to write my autobiography someday. So I used to write every day. I wrote in my journals. Well, I was at the airport I'm carrying like 100 bags over my shoulders, filled with diapers and, and I used to use real diapers, not Pampers. So I used to, and bottles, baby bottles and toys and you name it. And my husband was taking care of the passports and whatever. Anyway, suddenly a guard comes to me at the airport in Montreal, and he comes to me and he says, "Are those your kids?" And I look around, I'm like, "What?" And I thought they were right next to me. They were on the luggage carousel going over. Anyway, my husband and I rushed to the carousel and start grabbing kids. And I don't know when it happened, how it happened, but we got on the plane finally. And after we took off, I said, "Oh, Louis, can you give me my attaché case?" And he looks around. It was nowhere to be found. He left it at the airport. There I had all the things that were important to me, aside from all the songs I had written, all the stories I had written, all the poetry I had written, my children's first tooth, my children's first little haircut, the hair, everything, all my pictures from when I was a teenager that I carry with me because I never wanted my mom to see them or anybody else because they were very risque, I mean, not risque, but for my mom, they would have been. Because I was a crazy, I was a jazz singer who was also a punk rocker and did crazy stuff back in the 70s. So, I didn't want her to see those pictures. And so I always had them with me and in my case. Well, all those things were gone. Everything was gone. And so many memories. And then I attempted to start writing again in the 90s, but then things got really horrible and complicated. And then when I moved to Iowa in 2008, I lived in a little town. My sons, my twins, Peter and Paul, went to, I don't know if you ever heard of Maharishi University in Fairfield, Iowa, that the Maharishi opened back in the 70s. He was the guru of the Beatles and stuff. I got to meet him in person when he died, I think a year after I moved there to Fairfield. And so my sons went to that university. That's how I ended up moving to Fairfield. And it's the most incredible little town. Almost everybody's a meditator and vegan or vegetarian. The whole town, very incredible people, the most loving people. I can only say beautiful things about it. Oprah Winfrey did a special from there. She goes there all the time and meditates in the domes, beautiful domes. So I lived there for almost 9 years. So I attempted to start writing my autobiography again. But then I'm like, I'm so depressed. I have nothing. How am I going to end this story? So I stopped. But it always, because I started at 16. So it's always been something I've aimed for. And now I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to write my story. Because now I have a real story to tell. With an ending for the meantime. It can be many volumes throughout my lifetime. But now I really have a story to tell of healing, of coming out of darkness into the light, of a life very intensely lived and experienced. Now I really, I can inspire people. I can really help people now. And, that's my goal. It's my son, who's an amazing writer. He's writing the most amazing sci-fi story right now that people are just going to go crazy over. He wants to take like 3 months off next year to help me write the book. And he's the perfect person to help me because he's the most curious. He was the most curious little kid. Everything was, but mommy, why? But mommy, why? But mommy, what is this? And I had to explain everything to him. He absorbs everything so incredibly well. And he is going to help me write my story. And we're working on it. It's going to be really cool now. So I have a lot to look forward to. And, but what I really want to do is, like I said earlier, get my backpack, put on my hiking shoes, my walking shoes, and just travel the world and help people.
Awesome.
I'm a nomad. I always have been as a child, always moving. As an adult, I moved. The only time I ever lived anywhere for longer than a year was Fairfield for almost 9 years. But even then, I was traveling constantly for months at a time. And now I don't really have a real home of my own. And I don't want to have one. I'm an earthling. I'm an earthling. The earth is my home in this incarnation. And I just want to experience more. I've been to many, many countries, many exotic locations. And, but this time I want it in a different way. And, I want to help and make a difference because healing others is going to continue my healing journey too, I know. And that's the only way to have a meaningful life is to help others come out of darkness. Extend your hand. And which is what I used, a lot of kids used to pick on me when I was young. I always grew up in rough neighborhoods where everybody picked on me because I was different. And they would always pick fights with me. But I learned to be ultra tough, tougher than everybody else. And I was a little skinny thing because I'm short and I was anorexic. And I was always the one, they would form a circle around me after school. And right away, the girl would start, yeah, I'm going to kick your ass, and this and that, you this and that, cursing me out. I always stay very quiet. I would just stand there in the circle, let her speak her piece, and then I would just take my fist and go, boom, right in the face and knock them out without saying one single word. Because I didn't pick the fight. They picked it. I had nothing to fight about. So I would let them say their piece, curse me out, yell and tell me what you're going to do to me. Okay. I would be quiet, and then I would just take my fist and bop them, knock them out, and then I would extend my hand and help them back up. And say, listen, you asked for it. After that, they always wanted to become my best friend and defender. Always, without fail. Oh, man, I'm your best friend now. I'm going to defend you if anybody tries to pick on you. I would say, thank you very much, but I think I can defend myself. And, I'm a tough cookie. You have to be to live my life and survive it over and over and over again. You have to be tough. This life ain't for the weak-hearted. This life ain't for the faint-hearted. This life is only given to the strong. And I know that now. There's a saying in Spanish that says, Dios aprieta pero no ahorca. In other words, let me see if I can translate this. God, like crushes your neck, holds you tight by the neck, but doesn't choke you. I don't know if yeah, but he doesn't choke you, but grabs you really tight by the neck so you can't breathe, but doesn't choke you. And that's the way it is. If you truly believe.
A wake-up call.
Yeah. Life will throw things at you to see how tough you are, how much you can handle. And when you get through it, then you know why you're here and what you're meant to do. I think that's it. That's it. That's the whole gist of this whole thing.
Awesome. All right, so we're coming up to 9 o'clock, and we will call it a close. And we thank you so much for sharing your time and your experience with everybody, so you can help inspire so many others with similar stories and so on and so forth. This is why we like to do this, because everybody will resonate with somebody different and get inspired and make some changes in their life, so they don't need to point fingers at anybody else and just start doing something about it like you did yourself. So great pleasure.
We're all here. Yeah, we're all here for a reason. We're all the same. We're brothers and sisters on this planet. That's what I've learned through my travels around the world is, my God, we're all the same. And that's why I just love people. I love people. I don't care who you are and where you come from. We're all children of the great Creator. And love, that's all. Love. Love without expectation, without regret, without any negative, just love, plain and simple. Love yourself first, above every other love. It's the love for yourself. Because only when you love yourself can you love properly everyone else. Now I know that now I can truly love my children the way I've always wanted to love them. Now I know.
Awesome. All right, guys, I got to get going.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Rana. You've been wonderful and sweet and kind to me with all your beautiful messages of support and
thank you,
thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Much love and many blessings to you both. And everyone out there listening.
It's an honor to have you.
Thank you. An honor to know you. Thank you for coming into my life and saving me.
Likewise.
You're welcome. You saved yourself, and keep inspiring others to save themselves. Awesome.
Thank you.
Have a great night. Thank
you. We'll keep that plasma love flowing. Just tap in, folks. That's all it is. Just tap in. Thank you so much again for sharing your time.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night,
Have a
all.
good night.
Bye.
Bye.